Welcome back. Reporter panel time. Evan McMorris, Santoro, covers politics for Notice. Remember, that's News of the United States. Matt Brown, reporter for the Associated Press. All right, I want to go back to something we talked with David Becker about, because this question of non-citizen voting, I just want to lay some stats down for you. 2016, the election that Donald Trump won. Non-citizen voting in that election, according to the Brennan Center for Justice, studied 42 jurisdictions. You can look at the numbers. 30 cases out of 23.5 million votes cast. Let's go to Georgia, 2016. Also, Trump carried Georgia in 2016. Secretary of State's office, 20 cases of non-citizen voting out of 8.2 million votes. Now, you can say to yourself, that's a lot, but you'd be wrong. It's not a lot. It is infinitely small and smaller than a lot, just to lay that out. We've talked to you before many times, Evan, about Zohran Mamdani, New York. We're about a month in. Is there any appraisals thus far?
Well, I can say, the major test of a mayor is, can you get to work? Can your garbage get picked up? What happens when it snows? It snowed. The city kept working. So far, so good for him, really. There's a lot of other stories going on with that in terms of how the city actually is dealing with some of these crises that came in before him, right? Like homelessness, for example. That was a very hard part.
Not going to be solved in a month.
It was a very hard part of the snowstorm. But in terms of like a first sort of, can a Democratic socialist put on the DSNY jacket and get the stuff cleared out of the way? He can. And that seems to have been pretty successful for him.
Matt, here are the Democrats who are in Texas all excited about this special election victory Saturday in State Senate District 9. And within hours, something else springs up, which is controversial, has some racial undertones. James Talarico, currently leading in the polls, apparently said to someone that Colin Allred, a former member of the House that was in the race and got out, was a mediocrity of some kind. He posts a sulfurous video takedown, endorses Jasmine Crockett. That's kind of a thing that's going on.
It's so striking because I think that this really gets to so many of the things that the Democratic Party is currently grappling with, namely technology, new media, as well as still the identity politics of the last decade, really. This case is one in which a black man who was running for Senate, dropped out, is now running for the House, has come out and said that a social media influencer's comments have influenced his decision to endorse in a race. I mean, that's really remarkable when we really step back about this. And this entire
step-by-step process you just laid out.
It's incredible. I mean, we really are in
wouldn't have been on a bingo card 6 years ago.
21st century, I mean, new media is really defining this race. I mean, earlier in this race, Jasmine Crockett was criticized by some comedians on a podcast, and that became another massive controversy in this. So really what you're seeing here is another flashpoint in which national Democrats are understanding and debating the party's brand and identity through these new mediums and formats and through these old conversations on issues like this.
And Evan, speaking of new mediums and formats, that's Mamdani's whole thing. I'm not trying to put you in that pigeonhole, but you are an expert, at least within the context of this.
Well, I live there.
Yeah. You covered, you pay attention
to it.
That's
right.
Yeah.
That's right. Well, he's been very successful at that. This is the thing, is that, you talk about Democratic strategists, as I do, and I know that you do and you do. This is a problem. They don't have this authenticity of online, really, which is ironic because they have a lot of younger voters. Mamdani came in and was kind of a guy who was just good at being on the internet. As you're on the internet, it wasn't super surprising. It's just like this, he's just good at it. But it's very surprising for Democrats. They still don't understand, how do I unlock this? Do I do a meme and I do a dance? Do I do this? What do I do? And this is kind of what's going on with this Talarico thing. And I also think it sort of gets back to the general thing that you and I have covered. We've all covered these elections so many times. This Texas is like a cursed place for Democrats. Every time there's somebody, this is the guy, this is going to happen, and they step on the rake. And in the case of this, we had a lot of reporting at Notice that, the Crockett getting into the race in the first place was kind of maybe sort of astroturfed by a lot of Republicans who wanted her to get in. This is a situation where Democrats have put a lot of eggs, once again, in this basket, and they appear to be getting sort of broken all over the place right in front of their face.
And speaking of politics and identifying an issue and driving it, that's going to be very much in front of Democrats for the next 2 weeks here in Washington about DHS funding and what to get, if anything, out of this administration in terms of reforms to ICE and Border Patrol activities.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, we just saw today that obviously Republicans and Democrats got some concessions in the House in some of the reforms that they wanted to see for the non-DHS parts of this package to fund the federal government. So 1.2 trillion out the door. Okay, that's good. Everyone settled on that. The hard part now is going to be whether Republicans and Democrats can come to any sort of consensus on issues like masking, on issues like warrants for ICE, on issues like the conduct of these federal agents in cities across the country that has really shocked the nation.
And can you legislatively guarantee, for example, an independent investigation if deadly force is used in the context of one of these enforcement actions? That seems like a pretty big deal.
These are the very big and existential deals, and they go to the core of President Trump's agenda on immigration. They don't want to have any sort of constraint from Congress in some of these things, but they understand that the political environment might be requiring that.
Matt, you're going to get the last word. Evan, I know you were taking a breath in. I apologize. I got to short circuit you.
Matt's great. I mean,
two neckties.